is a wrap tutorial for a double hammock. You're going to need a base size wrap. I'm using Allie Dover Woven's Hygge Pop. I really like the double hammock because when I'm going to be wearing my baby for a long period of time, that chest pass more evenly distributes baby's weight. So there's quite a few different tightening places and things tips and tricks that I've kind of learned over the years that I've been wrapping that have helped make my double hammocks more successful, more secure, and more comfortable. So I will talk you through it, but keep at it because it does take a little bit of practice. You're going to find your middle marker and go slightly off center and grab your baby.
Oh, Graham. Graham.
Ready?
Can I read the book right here?
Yes, you can
Get
look
baby on your back however you prefer. I like to Superman. He was reading, so he's not entirely happy about this. As you can see, I'm hanging onto him pretty tight. When I go to make a seat, instead of trying to push the wrap up between us, like so, I actually go underneath his legs, pull out all of the slack, and then pull it up. So I will show you how I do that. At this point, you can kind of double check your middle marker, make sure it's going to be at the center of your chest. Also notice I'm starting him off extremely high, and that's because double hammocks naturally sink down as you are creating a seat and working your passes. So that's why he's up so high. So he's getting his hand. I secure my top rails with my teeth. So I've got a nice deep seat and I have a short tail and a long tail. So I bring up both tails over my shoulders as I'm tightening at first. Not everyone does that, but I feel like I maintain a better seat that way. And I'm going to tighten my short tail first. I keep all of them pinned between my knees to help keep his seat. So I'm going to tighten just as I would if it was a ruck through the width of the wrap. I have narrow shoulders, so I like to do what's called sandwiching the shoulders. You're going to take that bottom rail and flip it up towards your neck, essentially folding the wrap in half widthwise. This helps me with my narrow shoulders to keep the straps from sliding off of my shoulders. Pin my short tail, do the same to the other side, tightening through the width of the wrap. So then I have the tension, I keep it really tight, and I simply slide my arm so that's going to be, that long tail is going to become my chest pass. As you can see, I've kept all of that tension. I really keep pulling it tight, hang on to it, slide my hand under the short pinned tail, and pull the length through while maintaining that tension. When I create my chest pass, I focus on the top rail and then the part underneath my breasts and the bottom rail. If I tighten too much through the part that covers my breasts, it becomes uncomfortable. So as long as I get the tight part here, directly underneath, and the bottom rail, I'm usually pretty good. This is also a part where people struggle. It's getting this hammock pass over baby's bottom. I sort of have a trick for that. A lot of people, while trying to maintain the tension, will pull too tight and it'll either get stuck under baby's bottom or not under baby's bottom at all. So the way I do it is I think of almost like a towel. I give myself, using only the top rail, quite a bit of slack, and then shimmy it up baby's back, like so. Only thinking about that top rail right now. Grab it on the side and work your way back. You can use your armpit, honestly, to kind of work the fabric back as you pull, and then pull through the width of the wrap. The less resistance you have, the easier it'll be to tighten. So instead of trying to pull around my shoulder or over the top of the shoulder, I'm pulling directly to the side of his back. A lot of people struggle with this foot right here. The reason it does that, you can kind of wiggle it free, and then when you go to tighten, don't over tighten the bottom rail from this. That actually is what causes that foot to get caught. So I know my top part is tightened the way I want it. I'm going to leave this part, as long as it's not overly loose, leave this part as is, bunch up the bottom, follow it around, and any extra slack, pull it out that way, making sure that it's supporting him from knee to knee. Grabbing just that most top rail, top half of the wrap, I'm going to pull this one up and this one out and do a little bounce, and it's going to work out any of that extra slack for me. That's called an L pull. So I've got quite a bit, I've got that pretty tight. You want your hand out, buddy? Yeah? Here, bring it up here. So I'm going to keep all that tension as I bring it over my shoulder. Again, I like to sandwich my wrap so that bottom rail is going to go towards my neck. What's wrong? What'd you drop? Yeah? So at this point I have my tails. I like to work one at a time. Oh, say thanks, Daddy. Go over the bottom, underneath the second leg, under your arm, over the first leg, under the second leg. You can kind of give yourself another bounce and another little pull there to make sure that's nice and snug. And then I like to finish with a half knot. You can finish with a double knot. As you can see, pretty flat chest pass, pretty secure. I don't have to worry about these slipping off because they're sandwiched and folded in half. He has a nice deep seat. His legs are free. Really comfortable, thank you. Really, really comfortable carry for long periods of time. If he happens to fall asleep, I can take his little hand. I find this top rail and I simply just tuck it in on both sides if necessary. To take him out, undo your knot. I let gravity help me. Usually he's asleep when I'm taking him off, so he's laying on my back at this point. I've taken the wrap completely off until just the first part over my shoulder and under my arm. I'm going to hang on to that tension. I've kept his seat. I can slide him over on my hip and bring him to the front, and then he can go down. Like I said, it takes a lot of practice, but it really is a great, comfortable carry once you kind of figure out what works for you. Thanks, bye.